What is up, everybody? Man, you know what it is, man. We got to pop this thing off with a quick old question, real quick. We got four of us, so I'm going to run right into it. You guys just give me your quick answer. So, this one is a stomper. Would you rather have BO and not know it for the rest of your life or smell everyone else's BO?
Hey, I'm having BO and nobody, I don't know it because BO is a terrible smell. So I feel bad for everybody else, but that's not my nose.
Jeff, you're on MU. You.
Mute.
You.
I'm agreeing with Andy while Jeff's figuring out the mute button.
All right. So you're trying to smell it. Smell it. Don't
Yes,
tell it.
I have
Just trying
very
to
good
smell
sense of
myself.
smell.
Just myself.
Just smell yourself.
Yep. Rather
Hey.
smell myself than anyone else.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd rather smell everybody else's. I hope that like if I was hanging out with everyone that they just were clean and I didn't have to smell any. But if I ended up smelling like BO my entire life, then how am I supposed to pull any of the honeys, man? You know, that's not working. You can't go out here pulling chicks when you smell. You only ones you can pull would be the ones that smell.
I have a friend, a close friend. Well, not so much close anymore, but someone I know quite well that, has had a type of odor his whole life and has got a honey or two. We'll just leave it at that. So it's possible.
Personality, man.
There's somebody out there for everybody.
Hey, he's saying there's a chance, man. Well, whoever smelt it dealt it, but I'm gonna need 20 seconds, more like 15 or something like that. But here we go. All right, I had to check myself real quick, make sure I'm not stinking it up because we're about to stink it up with these topics right now, man. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about some of the. Well, we're gonna have another segment with our fantasy relevance this week. It's gonna be the NFC South, so anybody who's watching definitely take a look for that, so you can get some fantasy advice from one of the better divisions in football. We're gonna talk about some of the bad contracts that have gone around throughout sports. But to kick things off, our local news here, we've talked about this guy or the other guy that's the new quarterback probably every single time we've done the show for weeks and weeks and weeks now. But Baker Mayfield has finally been moved. He is traded. He is a Carolina Panther. He's gone. Now we don't have to talk about how bad he is anymore unless we're in Carolina. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna do something different because we know he has a special place in his heart for Mr. Baker Mayfield. So I'm gonna go ahead and lead this off with Jeff here, man. What do you think about this trade for Baker Mayfield to the Carolina Panthers?
As far as what I feel about this trade, kind of gonna go to what I've been hearing on local talk radio as well. They could have got a 5th-round draft pick months ago for him, and it just seems weird that they waited this long for this to happen and this close to a decision in the D Watt case. And it almost makes me feel like there's something that somebody might know that he's not going to get as heavy a suspension as was thought. But I don't know. The timing was weird. They got rid of him for nothing. They cut, basically half his contract. What are they on the hook for? $8 million or something like that?
10.5.
Okay, 10 mil. So they got rid of 8, basically, in this trade, and they got a 5th-round pick in 2024. So that's a nothing. That's a wash. They might get their starting quarterback. Good, bad, ugly. Who knows what's going to happen? Baker's been all of those things. Point here is we're in Cleveland, and rather than talking about the Browns, we're talking about the quarterback that is no longer here in Carolina, talking about coming back to play Cleveland in week 1, and that or our starting quarterback being suspended for the whole year or suspended for 6 games or suspended for how many games, maybe 0 games. Point is, we're talking about a $230 million quarterback that might not play this year and the quarterback that is no longer with us, rather than talking about the Browns. And I know that we've argued about this many times before, but you know what? This is all taken away from the actual Browns and what's coming up. I don't like any of it. I'd rather not talk about Baker probably ever again. I don't dislike the guy. I think he might be okay. He's probably going to end up being one of like the career starter backup type guys, and he can make a nice career out of that, and he can do all kinds of things. He can be successful. I don't know where D Watt's going to go, and I just don't. And so, like I said, the only thing that really comes to mind with me here is that we're not talking about the Browns in the upcoming season. We're talking about D Watt and his suspension, and Baker Mayfield playing in Carolina against the Browns week 1. It just seems like it's not about the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where you could kind of have that, but I mean, we are in the I mean, it's the off season. You're going to talk about everything that's slightly related, slightly unrelated. So it's not like we're going to be talking about Baker Mayfield the entire season or during preseason or anything like that. I think by then we'll probably have it all cleaned up and probably discussing Deshaun Watson, which I do think that we have some news coming up here within the next week or so. So, Birdie, baby, got you back on the show, man. What do you think about this trade? I know you're excited, happy.
Yeah, I'm just happy the whole saga's over, to be honest with you. Just happy it's gone. This will be the last time we talk to him, except for September 11th, when I think it's possible that Baker Mayfield has his highest completion percentage to Browns players. I do think that's a possibility on that game. I could see him throwing 4 picks that game. But honestly, for the Browns' sake, they saved $8 million. And I actually have heard reports that the deal that they got offered by Carolina was slightly worse on draft night than the one they got. So it's a conditional 5th that could turn into a 4th. You save $8 million in the cap. And more importantly, you get this story out of Cleveland. Obviously, like you said, Jeff, they've got enough distractions already. So it's good to kind of put a bookend on one of them, because there's no doubt that Baker was a distraction to this franchise, especially the last 6 months. I just think he kind of worked his way out of Cleveland. He lost the locker room completely. It's just come out that I don't want to say they didn't like him, because I don't think it's like a personal thing. I just don't think that a lot of those guys thought that he was a starting NFL quarterback. But there's supposedly going to be a quarterback competition in Carolina. I don't see why you trade for a guy and right before the season if you're not going to start him. So me personally, I'm really hoping he plays, because that turns into a big game TV wise. I think they'll put that one at I don't know exactly when it is right now, but it will be a big game. Heaven forbid they should lose to Baker, then the sky will literally be falling. But that's the last we're going to hear from Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, Ohio, September 11th. Thank you for taking us to the playoffs. But it's just my opinion that good riddance is due here. I just think it was time for both parties to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also happy that it's done, but hey, I hope no best for him. He wasted 4 years of me watching him, so not really worth it. Lanky Friendor, what you got? Baker Mayfield trade.
I agree with most of what you guys are saying, man. It sucks that dynamic, between the Baker and the rest of the team kind of fell how it fell. I hope he does well, man. I think he's got some talented receivers down there. Unfortunately, it is a story, especially when you're paying a guy to essentially try to beat you in the first week of the season. So I don't know. I hope he does well, man. I think he played hurt all of last season, and I think people are, I don't know, maybe a little bit unfairly giving him, the shit they're giving him. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I hope he does well. He's going to be in the segment later for you guys as well. So he's going to be pretty much of an asset if you ask me. But we'll see.
I wonder what slay means here.
So
slay the Browns out of some dough.
Man,
you're right. He does put the ass in asset. There's no doubt.
If he plays,
I knew there was a reason you like football.
if he plays week 1, I could somehow see Carolina winning, but let's go ahead and set this straight. Carolina, if they do win, is mainly going to be because Christian McCaffrey is pretty much given to be healthy for the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. So they're going to be one of the highest scoring offenses during those 4 to 5 weeks and a tough opponent. So just kind of a bad draw. Definitely won't be because of Baker Mayfield. They'll just ride the coattails of his running backs like he just got done doing. So, yeah. He'll probably be the one that gets him hurt, to tell you the truth. He's probably going to throw him a quick little ball across the middle and have somebody run right into him. And there it is, Leo's season. So, all right. So, anything else? Geez, Brooks is he's our biggest guy right now. He's coming with the comments right now. Is anything else about Baker Mayfield before we go and switch on over to the next subject here? I don't know if there's any. I don't want to get on the Watson train.
One little quick thing. I think that we're going to see a different Baker Mayfield, a more humble version of Baker Mayfield going forward. I don't think you're going to see him all on Instagram, fighting with fans, fighting with media. I think that he'll humble himself a little bit. At least he should. So I'm interested to see that.
No, you know what? I agree with that fully. I think that all of a sudden he's going to realize that he wasn't the man, that he, you know what I mean? And you're not set in your place. And this is the NFL. And you can go here, there. I watched Moneyball last night, just off the wall, the half of Moneyball. And you know what? It's kind of the same thing. When David Justice was in the batting cage, and he's like, look, Brad Pitt, you're paying me $7 million. And he's like, no, I'm not. The Yankees are paying you $3.5 million to play against them, which is kind of exactly what's happening as far as week 1 goes. I know it's a little bit different in baseball and football, but there was a real big parallel there that we're not the ones paying you. We're kind of paying to play against you. And I don't know. You know what? I think that if it all comes down to the Carolina coaching, if they can figure a way to not give McCaffrey the ball 55 times a game so he doesn't get hurt, and use Robbie Anderson and use DJ Moore. And I'm telling you, Rashard Higgins, since he has a little bit of history with Baker, there's some things that could happen there. But I would rather talk about the Browns than Carolina moving forward.
Looks like Leo was listening today. He caught my slight. Hey, Leo, you should probably watch more of our shows. I talk about your fantasy team a lot.
You must have got a hit, an update. Oh, they're talking crap about your team, dude.
That's great. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on over to our next segment here. I still don't have a noise yet. I swear I'm going to work on one eventually, so I'm just going to talk through this one until it's done, just like it's supposed to be, doing some stuff or some stuff like that or anything. Yeah. So, now this is actually big news for one person. It's actually just shocking news to me. Zion Williamson just signed a 5-year extension up to worth $193 million and up to $231 million. I can't remember what the percentage was, but this dude has clearly missed so many basketball games since he's been in the league. I think I made a joke the other day that he should probably still be up for Rookie of the Year because he's probably barely played over a season of games. So, really just everyone take a minute and talk about what they think about the contract itself. But then just for fun, let's talk about some of the bad contracts that have gone across sports throughout our time here, at least that we know about. Lanky Friendor, you look deep in thought, so I feel like you're ready for this one. Let's.
I'm definitely unprepared for this one. I don't know how you extend any guy's contract that's played for you, not even a quarter of the games. Maybe has he? I couldn't tell you. I'm not a big New Orleans guy. But yeah,
neither is he apparently.
It's I'd say it's probably getting a little out of control. Any of these contracts, really. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a lot of money, man, but they got to pay, so whatever it takes, I guess. I mean, we got a guy coming up for the Yankees that is going to see some substantial money here after the season's over. And Aaron Judge, man, he's probably going to be one. He's going to be close to. Oh, I don't know, man. But these guys are getting $40 million a year now for a season, so I wouldn't be surprised he gets $250 for 6 years, $250 million. But as far as Zion, I hope the Knicks don't do something stupid and trade for him because That's something they're about doing, is doing stupid shit. So we'll see. Ridiculous, though. Ridiculous. One word, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Brooks said he may be worth it, but how do you know if he hasn't played? Birdie, baby, what do you have to say about that?
Well, to Brooks's comment, one of the reasons I do think they know is because in the 82 games that he's played, he's the second highest scoring player ever behind Michael Jordan. So they love what they see when he plays. The problem is he just can't get on the court. So, I mean, if he doesn't get on the court now, I don't know what's going to get him on the court. Yeah, I don't know, man. Guys that big, that move that quick and jump that high, I just don't see how he's going to be able to sustain that. But, I mean, by all accounts, Zion's a good dude. So I'm not rooting against Zion at all. I hope that he comes back and balls out. But like I said, through 82 games, there's only one person in NBA history that's outscored him. So that's why he got this contract. But, I mean, would I have given it to him? Probably not. But I don't own an NBA team. So, somebody that might be a little bit smarter than me.
This guy's like the second coming of Greg Oden.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of Anthony Davis on there as well. Jeff, what you got?
No, it actually goes right to your point. And yes, he's played 82 games in 3 years. What is it? 3 years? And when he does play, he's great. But for that kind of money, I mean, geez Louise, it almost goes to we're talking about bad contracts, almost goes to paying D. Watt to be the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL. Anyway, I like Zion too, to go to your point, Andy. I think he's a good dude. He's a solid guy. He works hard. He does all that stuff that he needs to do. The city seems to like him. I think the way that I feel personally lately over the past couple years goes to, I think, how a lot of fans feel. And I think all the contracts are just too big. You know what I mean? And the fans are losing touch with some of these players because the players are on these platforms and talking about, I need more money. Remember when the NBA was doing that and Kenny Smith and all that? And these guys are talking about, well, I only make $5 million a year and I should make $12 million a year. Well, I think average people, especially with the way things are going right now in our country and our economy, are getting a little bit tired of listening to these guys who are just super wealthy. And Zion, to get paid that much money and only have played in 20% of the games that since he's been a pro, I think this is the whole thing going towards why people are going towards different sports, I think, and esports and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, I'm going to watch this guy Zion that I love, and I know he makes $125 million a year, and he's only going to play 5 games this year. And it's like, holy cow, man, I can't even relate to these situations and the circumstances that are going on. This goes to these whole contracts, which we were going to talk about later. But as far as Zion in particular goes, I agree. I'm not rooting against the guy. It's just something's happening, and we're making this larger gap between like athletes and the fans, and we are starting to see it in numbers going down in different sports and that kind of stuff and viewership. But I don't know, man. I mean, how much money is enough? Look, to play in any one of these pro sports, you have to be the top in the world. And I do not underappreciate anyone's skill. Tennis, soccer, badminton, it doesn't even matter. Ping pong. But still, how much money is that worth versus the teachers and the police and the school administrators and all that kind of stuff? And I think this is where the gap is widening right now between sports and the fans. And I think they're just out of hand. There's no way this dude should have that kind of contract.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of beyond me. I mean, when you don't play that many games, I mean, when you sit out that many games, I just don't understand the justification for the contract. I mean, the only thing that I can really assume, because when I checked and looked at it, he's not even top 15 in jersey sales. So maybe he's just a large portion of what's bringing people to games for the however many 20, 25 games that he plays a year. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. So yeah, I mean, personally, I definitely wouldn't pay him that kind of money. But I guess when it comes down to it, like you're the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, I guess they're not really that bad of a team, but they're still the New Orleans Pelicans. So I guess you got to keep the big names around or whatnot. I do think this will go down as a pretty bad trade. I don't have it up there high on my list yet. Of course, we won't know that until years and years down the line. Definitely not going to call it any type of Bobby Bonilla or I mean, that guy's he's going to get paid until I retire. And then, whatever Tristan Thompson's deal was, I mean, they should have paid him absolutely zero. So yeah, those, but really the big one, the one I dislike the most, and Andy actually brought this to my attention. I was going to go a completely different way. Jacoby Smellsbury. Yeah, that guy signed a 7-year, $153 million deal with the Yankees after he shook Boston. First and foremost, how do you shake Boston for the Yankees? Dude didn't win the World Series. That's what happened. And he played 111 games in 2017, 112 games in 2018. Or nope, I'm sorry, 16, 17, I believe it was. And then 0 in 2018. So that was definitely one of the worst contracts.
Yeah, but before that, before he got there and put those numbers up, he put up some of the best numbers in baseball. So his Smellsbury didn't smell like poop. It smelled like roses, and that's why they brought the roses in.
Right. But it's still a bad contract because of what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Pujols was a bad contract as far as production goes.
The
Angels did not get $295 million worth of Albert Pujols.
He played.
Well, he sold tickets.
He sold tickets.
He sold tickets. People wanted to go see Pujols.
Nobody was coming to see Jacoby Ellsbury, so.
True indeed.
But to be fair, I don't think that really broke the Yankees' payroll at all. So, all right, so let's go ahead and kick it to our next segment here. I don't have a song, I don't have a dance, but I have a noise. I think that's is that how the most annoying song in the world wins?
That was from Dumb and Dumber, absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So this week we're gonna go ahead and do our fantasy division impact for the NFC South. For those who are just casual NFL fans and don't even know what teams are in divisions, that's gonna be the Carolina Panthers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to go ahead and kick this one off. I think I went one birdie, one lanky, right? So Hefe, NFC South, man, who is your fantasy asset?
All right. Yeah, because like we talked about the other day, since we're going Baker Mayfield, NFC South is perfect. But you know what? The biggest asset I feel in the NFC South is it's Kyle Pitts, man. This kid is poised to make a run at being top 3 tight ends in the NFL. And who's his quarterback? Marcus Mariota. Who's his running back? They don't really have any. Cordero Patterson's not a real running back. Who's their wide receivers? They don't really have any. So guess what? They're going to be behind in almost every game they play. And Atlanta, history over the past 10 years, is one of the most throw-happy teams in the NFL. So if you have no running game, you don't have great receivers, but you have a beast of a tight end and a mediocre quarterback, that means that beast tight end is going to get fed. He might get double covered and this and that, but I think Kyle Pitts is man enough to actually step into the top 2 or 3 tight end positions this year. Therefore, Kyle Pitts is my main asset in the NFC South this year.
Nice. Yeah. I clearly have a lot of love for Kyle Pitts, and we even talked about him during our dynasty segments where we were going through our by position, and I have him listed at number 1. He's going to be good for a very long time. He put up some amazing numbers although there weren't many touchdowns, but I expect those to come. But he did put up some amazing numbers in his rookie season, and I will expect him to grow on that. Lanky Frendor, who is your fantasy asset for the division?
Baker Mayfield. I think he's just got great pieces around him. I think he's going to be just showing a lot of relief for not being in Cleveland anymore. And I think you were going to get him cheap or deep in a draft. So I think for what you can get him for, and the risk versus the reward is high with him. I just really do.
That's a free agent pickup after week 2.
Yeah, he's not getting drafted.
Hey, dude,
he may not be on draft board.
Man, we're talking about the shittiest division in football too.
I think we might have talked about that one a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I don't know about Baker, man. It might be Matt Corral season by the time it's all said and done. But we'll see.
We'll see, man.
We'll see. Birdie, baby, fantasy asset.
Yeah, so my fantasy asset in the NFC South this year is Jameis Winston. Again, you're talking about somebody you can get cheap. I think Jameis Winston you can get very cheap, and I do think he's draftable very late in your draft. But I think that he's going to have production. I think that Michael Thomas being back and Jarvis Landry, who I'll touch on later, is a quiet pickup, a perfect slot receiver for them. And I just think Jameis Winston he throws the ball a ton. He always is good for yards and touchdowns. Yes, he gives the ball away. You expect that, you know that going into it, but I do think he has value in fantasy, quarterback-wise. I'm not saying he's going to win the game, a bunch of games. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but he's a good quarterback to stash as a backup on your team. I think he's going to, like I said, throw for a ton of yards, a bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of interceptions for sure. But we all know touchdowns are worth more than interceptions take away from you. So I just don't think it's a bad pick. I think there's some serious value to Jameis, and he still has a lot to prove.
Yeah, he's I don't think Jameis is all that bad. The 30 for 30 year, he was under Bruce Arians, and that's just a thing that's happened for quarterbacks in Arians systems throughout his career as a head coach. And then you kind of put that in with the fact that he wasn't playing too bad last year. I actually think I would have to look it up, but I don't think his touchdown to interception ratio was too bad for his first year in that system. And then he got injured. I think what was it, ACL? Was it ACL tear? I think. That was pretty early in the season, so
Week 8, they were 5-2.
Yeah, they probably had a chance, and he could have, he really could have exploded a little bit more on the scene once he got a little bit deeper into the year. So I don't necessarily disagree with that one. But there's assets come in the form of really, really nice things, valuable things, and there's only one of those in this division, and that's Tom Brady. Seven championships, guys. Come on. I mean, that was about as easy as a question that anyone could ask, and somehow you guys all picked the wrong person. But anyway, so let's go ahead and jump on over to the NFC South fantasy sleeper. Same order. So El Jefe, kick it off.
Look, I'm gonna not piggybacking on Kai's Baker, but look, Robbie Anderson has been on the cusp of being a top 20 receiver. He's been a 20 receiver. If he got the ball more with a little more health, I think that he's a borderline top 10. And as far as assets or sleepers go in this, you're going to be able to get Robbie Anderson way down in the draft. And I think Robbie Anderson will be drafted way out of even the wide receiver 4-5 and has a good chance if they throw the ball this year. I think him and Baker are going to get some kind of together because there's been some kind of pressure about Robbie Anderson talking shit about Baker. And now he's talking about, I have no problem with Baker. And I think, like you said, Kai, he's going to go there and he's going to lose his ego. And I think somehow these guys are going to click together. So I think Robbie Anderson, as long as Baker Mayfield is their quarterback this year, I think he's going to be he's going to produce well above where he's drafted. So I like Robbie Anderson to overproduce where he's drafted. So he's my sleeper. And then I got an ultra sleeper real quick. I know you don't want me to say it, but I think Scotty Miller is going to turn into one of Tom Brady's favorite targets this year. All the other guys go downfield. They go downfield, and Scotty Miller's the under guy. Julian Edelman, blah, 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 all the stuff that Tom Brady does with underneath guys. So I know you didn't want me to say it, but that's my super sleeper, Scotty Miller.
So did you forget that Chris Godwin was on the team?
He's kind of a thread middle of the field down. I think Scotty Miller is going to be their third best receiver.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. There's still room for Julian Edelman to randomly decide to come out of retirement since Gronk is supposedly hanging it up. Brady's not going to let everyone retire. Pressure. Lanky Frendor, sleeper.
Oh, I'm going off of what you just said, Joe. I'm going Cameron Brate. That really hinges on Gronk coming back or not. I don't think he will. I don't know. Who knows though? Tom Brady came out of retirement after 45 days or some shit. So, but yeah, I'm going to go Cameron Brate. He's a tight end for Tom Brady. He should play well. He should be fairly cheap or deep in a draft. So yeah, let's go Cameron Brate.
I want to give Drew some shout out love here. So he said, "Can you believe Jameis Winston was the number 2 quarterback just a few years ago?" Hey, yeah.
Tons of yards.
Yeah. He's capable, man. He's definitely very, very capable. Birdie Baby, who you guys your sleeper in the division?
So my sleeper, actually everybody loves a quarterback wide receiver duo, but I do think Jarvis Landry is a sleeper. And the reason I say that is because of what he's coming off of with the Cleveland Browns. Let's not forget who his quarterback was there. And that's why his numbers took a huge hit. I firmly believe that. And also the system, not just the quarterback. We are Cleveland, a run heavy team, a true 50-50 split. And while I think they're going to run the ball quite a bit with Alvin Kamara, they'll pass more than they run down there. And I think that he's the perfect underneath complement to Michael Thomas. I do. I think he's going to be revitalized down there. I don't have visions of grandeur of a top 20 year, but I think he'll be in the top 30, 40 wide receivers. And when you're talking about sleepers, that's all you need. Give us one big game, 2 big games, and, you make your money off of Jarvis Landry. He signed for almost nothing down there too. I think he's going to be hungry to bring his name back to light, because let's not forget what he was doing in Miami before he came to Cleveland.
Yeah. As much as I hated that team, Jarvis Landry was always really 2 times a year piecing us up, win or lose. So he was a phenomenal receiver, and I don't think that he really showed what his worth was in Cleveland. So see if he can get back to that. I'm going to kind of jump on the Saints bandwagon here a little bit, because I'm going with Alvin Kamara. I know that sounds crazy as a sleeper, but if you're reading any of the reports, man, a lot of people are saying don't touch this dude for some reason. And if anything, that makes it very, very valuable pick, and especially in redrafts.
Is he facing a suspension?
He may be, but even if he is, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like maybe like
It's
5 or 6
people up,
games,
right?
Yeah. Apparently you get more for that than you get for other things. But
yes.
But no, honestly, to touch on the Saints team, I've said it before, already before on one of our shows. I think they're going to be a lot better than people are giving them credit for. Andy just mentioned when we were talking about assets that Jameis Winston was 5-2 as a starter before he went out. He didn't have Jarvis Landry, he didn't have Michael Thomas, he didn't have Chris Olave, and they were pretty much riding the backs of whatever receivers they had out there that they could put on the field, and Alvin Kamara. Well, teams are going to have to respect that passing game out in New Orleans now. So I think Alvin Kamara is going to go back to the same Kamara he was when RIP, my buddy Mark Dannemiller was drafting him every year and piecing us up. I'm definitely riding
For
with
2
him
in a
being a
row.
sleeper in this. Yeah. I'm definitely riding with him being a sleeper this year. I don't know why people are saying to fade him, but one man's trash is another man's treasure, and let me get a piece of that action and redrafts if you don't want them. Sell El Jefe.
Talking about my dumper, who am I selling?
Yeah, who you selling? Who you getting rid of? Who you trading off?
I actually like the Kamara pick. I really do. I didn't really think much about him. I mean, as far as that goes, I had him a couple of years ago, and he's a little bit down, but I like that pick. But as far as my sell goes, it's going to go against you a little bit, Joe. Maybe not. But look, Leonard Fournette. It's so hard to figure this guy out, man. One year he looks like the best running back in the league, and he catches 70 passes and 7 touchdowns and rushes for 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then the next year he only plays 3 games, and then the next year he plays 6 games, and then the next year he's playing for 3 or 4 different teams. Whatever it is, that's not exactly the case, but it just seems like Leonard Fournette is all over the place. And I don't think Tampa Bay, for some reason, I have a feeling Tampa Bay is not going to be as cohesive this year as they have been. And Leonard Fournette's getting a little bit older, and they did ask him to do a lot down the stretch, and he produced down the stretch, no doubt. I mean, he helped people win fantasy leagues last year down the stretch. But he's the guy that, like, I'm the least confident in that's supposed to be, like, the starter in this division. And I don't know. I don't see Leonard Fournette finishing the whole season. It's one of the reasons that Scotty Miller was my ultimate sleeper. But Fournette, man, I'm selling him. I could be wrong, but I just have this feeling that Leonard Fournette is going to be the bad Leonard Fournette this year, not the good Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I almost never pick the guy anyway, but he proves me wrong every single year. Just tears it up. So I don't know, but I don't have a problem with that sell. Let's see. But as far as cohesion is concerned with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think going into the season without Antonio Brown automatically means that they will be more cohesive this year, because that man was just a problem last year. Andy, don't at me. So, Drew, can you just be a special guest on the show? You got
be on the show.
Okay. He's even got an answer for us. Look. Hey, he's already there.
He's more active than we are right now.
Lanky Friendor, who you selling in the NFC South this year?
Well, I honestly think you can sell every running back in this division, but I'm gonna sell, since we're still talking about him, Alvin and the Chipmunks. I think, yeah, he's going to probably miss at least 4 games. He basically beat some dude down in Vegas, like chased him down and continuously punched him. So that's not going to be real nice. If you do end up getting him, you're probably going to have to get him really high. You're going to have to spend a lot of money. He was pretty injury prone last year, and he's going to miss at least 4 games, I bet, the first 4 games of the season. So you're missing, a quarter of your season for potentially a lot of money or an early draft pick. So if you can get him, maybe if you're drafting and you can get him in the 8th, 9th round, yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't go higher than 7th round to get him. So I'm selling Kamara, but I could sell every running back in this league.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. A 4 game suspension ain't no 8th, 9th round pick that for somebody like Kamara. That'd be more like 4 or 5 or something like that. But I see your point though. Drew has stipulations on whether or not he'll be on the show, and I'm gonna let Birdie Baby go ahead.
Are you in, Andy? Are you in, Birdie Baby?
It depends on what type of pie. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Because I like a good apple pie, but I've heard about these like rhubarb pies. I'm not down with that.
Can't be hot.
Yeah, hey, but no, even a cold rhubarb pie, I'm not on that. So hit me with an apple pie or hit me with like a whipped cream pie. I'm all about it, bro. We can live stream it and get you back on the show, Drew. You know what I'm saying? We need you back.
Monday.
Oh man, American Pie.
No rhubarb, Drew. No rhubarb.
So who you selling, Andy?
I'm selling Christian McCaffrey so quick, so fast, and I mean, I could not sell him quick enough.
I sell. I sells. Now you're selling. Everybody sells.
The dude has played 10 games in 2 years, and he's still probably going to get drafted like first overall in redraft leagues. It's insane to me. It really is insane. He's definitely going into the top 5. I guarantee you that. And the dude's going to play, like you said, watch. First of all, of course, he's probably going to ball out against Cleveland. And then 2 games later, he's going to snap his ankle or something. I don't wish that on anybody. But that's just, history. That's what it's telling me. So I'm selling Christian McCaffrey. I don't even know what I could get for him. I'll take a bag of Skittles at this point. I am not taking Christian McCaffrey. Somebody else can deal with that headache, Jeff.
So you're not drafting him in any round. Hey, look, you know what? It's so crazy that happened last year. I did go with Caffrey, and he started off okay, and then he got hurt. And then Leo wants to trade me Barkley for Caffrey, and Barkley's healthy, and Caffrey's hurt. So I sell it, and I trade it, and then all of a sudden Barkley gets hurt in the very first game that I have him in. So I had McCaffrey and Barkley both, who I will never, ever own again in any league that I ever play in.
Yeah, it's I definitely won't have anything to do with him. I 100% agree with him being a sell candidate. But hey, I'll tell you what. Hey, that 4-game suspension for Alvin Kamara doesn't sound as bad as drafting Christian McCaffrey. But
4-game suspension versus 4 games of production.
But I'm selling Cordell Patterson. Look, I don't have much to say. I'm gonna wrap this up just like I wrapped up my running back segments for Fantasy for Breakfast. It's because he's not a running back. That's it. It's that simple.
Leo, we're talking to you, Leo.
He's not a running back. He ain't doing nothing. He got lucky last year. Then he died off, Leo. I wish you were still here, but I know that you bounced out because you would have said something when we were talking about your team a little bit ago. So, all right. So, we're gonna go ahead and just go through some quick, instead of doing quick takes, we're going to go ahead and just do our wrap up because I think a couple of us got a few things planned on here tonight. So you can kind of do your quick take to your wrap up if you want to. Let's go ahead and just start with El Jefe. Kick it off.
Look, man, rooting for the Guardians all the way. Like we said last show, I think it's going to be an up and down. I think they're going to be in the race till the end. So the Guardians are going to be fun to watch. Some really good players on this team. I hope Bieber turns it around a little bit because he's on my team, my big money league. But the Guardians are going to be fun to watch. As far as my real quick take is, I've watched a lot of golf this year, and it was fun watching Tiger early on in the year and then waiting for Tiger to say he's going to play in the British Open, which I'm pretty excited to watch next week. Old course, old everything, man. It's going to be amazing.
What's this week?
Yeah, this week, come next week. This week, Monday. Okay, my days are all. But yes, this week. But up until this point, looking forward to this tournament. Man, I watched the American Century Celebrity Tournament Sunday. I didn't even watch it any Friday or Saturday. But you know what? I had so much fun. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this tournament yesterday and Tony Romo playing golf. And I love watching, like, other athletes playing a sport that it's not their sport, and then seeing how good these guys can be at this. And some of these guys are legit, man. Romo and Mulder have won the last 6 tournaments. First, second in the last 6 tournaments. And there's some pretty good golfers that play in this stuff. Jim McMahon, and who was it? Does anyone know? Jim McMahon was out there in a foot cast and couldn't even hit the ball and walk without a walker. You know why he was out there? He was one of 2 players that has been in every single one of these tournaments, 33 years going. And dude's head's not right. His foot's not right. He can't even hit the ball, but he went out there and played. So those are some of the stories that we saw in this tournament. And you know what? I'm going to watch every day of the American Century Championship next year because I love watching these guys play. I hate Aaron Rodgers and his man bun. And if Charles Barkley would have finished above number 70, the bet was he could have cut off Aaron Rodgers' man bun. So next year for this tournament, we're going to root for Charles Barkley to finish high enough to cut off Aaron Rodgers' gay ass man bun.
Oh, okay. All right. Frankie Lanky Frendor.
Jeff and I have we're follicularly challenged, so we hate on the man buns. I apparently not as much as Jeff, but it's okay. Good series between your boys and my boys this weekend, Joe. Just split the series. We're gonna have another one here this weekend, and then the All-Star break. But just one fact that I don't know if you guys knew. It's very interesting to me. I just learned this today. Our faux Pittsburgh Steelers are not playing in Heinz Field anymore.
Yep.
This is going to be called the yep. And just thought that was interesting to know. We're not going to the ketchup bottle to play them anymore. We're going to the so anyway, they're going to be Acra shitty hopefully this year. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Go Yankees again this weekend, and then I'm pretty excited for the home run derby too.
Yeah, they. By the way, I thought that was really weird that it was a Michigan-based like finance or insurance company or something like that. Like you guys couldn't find someone in your own town. But Birdie, baby, kick it off with your. I'm sorry, I don't have music for you. I gotta get that from Drew.
No. Look, nothing serious this week. I'm out of town. I'm traveling, so my mind is not working right. I just got a couple quick things. For those that know me, you know how early I wake up in the morning. I wake up really early, and this Thursday and Friday are the best days to wake up early because we have the British Open Championship, and it's televised at like 4 a.m. So wake up, stay in bed, watch golf for a couple hours. Speaking of golf, quit selling the golf courses in my area. Turkey Foot just sold today. Don't like that at all. Don't like it. Keep the golf courses around. We don't need any more Ryan Holmes developments. We don't. We've seen them. And lastly, I'm playing Crooked Stick tomorrow, so holla at your boy.
Show us some pics.
Definitely don't need any more Ryan Holmes developments. Drew has a final take. So Andres Jimenez, number 8 hitter in the
glad
league
that Drew's been with us the entire show.
Nolan Jones is the next All-Star. He just got called up. How is Nolan Jones the next All-Star when my quick take is the next All-Star? And that's Jeter Downs. He's also the best shortstop by the name of Jeter to ever play the game. That barehanded throw. I ain't never seen Derek.
You've been real funny lately, man.
Didn't come out last week, but this is what D-Watt asked for. Right here. Pinky.
Hey, you wait and see though. Jeter Downs is the man, so he's gonna be better than that guy Derek. But I don't know if he's gonna play shortstop though. It depends on what happens with Xander. But all right, so thanks for everybody coming and watching our show and all that other good stuff that we're supposed to say to you. Go smell yourself. Tomorrow you might wake up and you might not be able to smell the BO. It might just be there. People are just going to know it's there. You never wanted to take that chance. So, while you're stinking, we'll keep doing our stanky stank over here, but we'll make sure to see you next week. Same place, same time. You know what it is.